issue with serving on these boards. So, Frank, what are, when you have some downtime, what are the things that you like to do?
Well, what I like to do when I do are two different things. We got a small little ranch here that takes a lot of time, cut and brush. So I'm the star one day, and the next day I'm on a tractor and everything else, cut and brush, trimming trees, and so on. Almost like a Ronald Reagan used to go when he was the president, down to his ranch and cut and brush and wood and so on. But I enjoy that. And I also enjoy the travel. A lot of times I'll try and take a couple extra days to where I'm at. And my wife seldom travels with me. She's busy running a nonprofit herself here. But when she can, we get a little extra vacation time, a little alone time for a change.
That's great. So how often does...
I miss riding. I had to give that up just recently. So
what was that you had to give up, you said?
I said I had to give up motorcycle riding. That was my passion all these years. Yeah. Just recently, because of a broken leg that didn't heal properly, no more motorcycle riding.
So what types of motorcycles do you like to ride?
Well, I like the new generation Harleys, and I never did before that. We were doing a pilot for a TV show for ABC called The Wish Riders. And it was the concept was almost like home improvement, where they would build a home for a person, go off the sunset, build another one. That was on ABC. And this was going to be 5 guys on motorcycles riding across the country, going to a small town, learning there was a wish child, get a big motorcycle rally, a concert, get the money to grant the wish and ride off into the sunset. But I bring this up because the show director wanted us to ride Harleys. And that's the generation of Harleys where I teased him. We were in Sierra Nevadas. I said, why do I have to shift in second gear just to get up this hill at 30 miles an hour? And that's about as fast as we'll go. And with the Highway Patrol, we never rode them. They didn't have that speed from 0 to 110 you needed to get immediately. But they came in and said, Frank, we got a brand new Harley and 2011 model. They redesigned everything. Try this. I don't want to do it, but I did. I was like a little kid, Stephen. This thing was so magnificent, and ended up buying the bike after the show.
Oh, wow.
And that was my passion. I just love the new generation Harleys.
Yeah. Again, this is Coach on Fire, High Performance Leadership with Stephen Bryant, with our great guest, Frank Shankwitz. Frank, what are some of the things that you'd like the listening audience to know? A little bit more about you, a little bit more about what you're doing, a little bit more about the book or the movie? Well,
boasting a little bit, I guess. You can follow me on my website, wishman1.com. And it gives everything we're doing about the movie, my speaking schedule, where I've been, what I'm going to do. It also, the new book, like I say, Wish Man, is also going to be released, and the information is on there. And then just follow the speaking schedule. And my manager is always looking for engagement we can speak at. And if you know of somebody that's interested in the speaking, you can contact her via the website. And then, of course, the movie. We're just so involved with that. We have the first showing to distributors on September 17th in Hollywood. And this will be invited for only 21 potential distributors to see it for the first time. And really looking forward to that.
Frank, I would love to have you come up to Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada, and speak, because I think your persona and what you stand for would really make a difference, especially with the social profits, the nonprofits that we work with up here, because I think it's important. One of the things, and the reason we named the center of hope, because we want to provide hope to those who feel that they have no hope. Many who have the same type of story that you had growing up. And I remember the importance of telling the story as I worked at the Center of Hope is a lot of people that I talked with have said, this is the first time I've been able to tell my story. And for them, that was extremely empowering. And to be able to make those connections, to make those people feel that there was some hope, and to see the success stories It's one of those things where people have hope. They do catch a vision many times of that life can be better than it is right now.
Well, I love your country. Canada's such a beautiful country, and I even speak Canadian, eh?
Hey, you got it. Oh my, yeah. Just we'll make sure you get a Tim Hortons cup of coffee too.
During my career as a detective, homicide detective, I worked with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on several cases, and these guys are so sharp. I mean, they're just so good to work with.
They are. I met one who actually just left the RCMP for a job in the private sector, but just a really classy guy. Just one of those guys that in many ways reminds me of you. A lot of leadership experience, potential, wants to do whatever possibly can for the community. And so again, some really great guys with the Mounties. What else, Frank, would you like people to know about you and what you're doing?
I think we pretty much covered it all. Just staying busy is the biggest thing.
Very good.
Yeah, I retired in 2014, and I was so fortunate. What am I going to do next? I'm not the guy to just sit around. And met this gentleman named Greg Reed, who said, I'm going to develop your speaking career to the public instead of just the speaking I was doing for Make-A-Wish. And through his mentorship, it's this whole new career, the book, the movie, everything. I'm just so fortunate to have this new career that's going on. And I appreciate everybody. When somebody actually pays to go see you, I'm so appreciative of that they do that. And I always make myself available, meet and greet. I'm not the guy that goes in and talks and leaves. I want to make sure that I can talk to the people if they want to.
So connecting with people is really important to you.
Oh, yes, definitely. Going back from Air Force, especially with highway patrol, daily contact with people, not just writing tickets. I mean, I was in a fatal accident team, and just the most horrific accidents, but then having to deal with the survivors and so on, the families, and then just the general public on things. It was a great career on motor. It was more fun on motorcycles than being the homicide detective.
I can imagine. For me, and I think this is one of the reasons I got involved with certainly going back to my days in retail management, connecting with people, and then having this vision of becoming a pastor, because I wanted to help people, and I wanted people to have hope, and wanted people to have a connection, and to me, it's a connection with God. And then getting into, and it's an interesting journey how I left the pastorate to go to come here to Fort McMurray, as I was in St. John's, Newfoundland, and also was the chaplain for the St. John's Maple Leafs, who's the AHL affiliate of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the connections that I made are life-changing even for me, and are hopefully life-changing for the person that you've had that chance to connect with. For you, Frank, leadership. Give me right off the bat, if you think of right off the bat, top three principles of leadership.
Top three. I've already mentioned one. Lead by example.
Exactly. That's right.
Set a good work standard and a good work environment for the people that are working for you. Make them want to come to work.
Definitely.
Set that environment where they want to come to work. They're happy when they come to work. They're also happy when they leave, right? But they like their job. If you're not happy in your job, you're just not happy. And try and make that happen for the people.
And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about working where I am. And even in the previous job, I had a great board director who was always for me. In fact, he came on. He said, Stephen, which I'm always thankful for. He says, the reason I came on, Steve, was because of you. He said, I saw your leadership by example, and that's one of the reasons he came on to be the board chair. or was elected to be board chair, but he recently became a board member. And then the current situation where I am, have a really great opportunity to be the executive assistant to probably one of the great executive directors in Fort McMurray. She's just a brilliant a leader, and she touches on the very things that you mentioned, is leadership by example. And somebody said, do you like working for where you are? And I said, I love it. I love going to work. Now, yeah, I do love coming home too, but it's being there. And, you know, one of the kind of neat things is that she'll pick my brain and say, what do you think about this? And to me, that's really empowering to think that, you know, your executive director wants to hear from you. And I think that's a really important part of leadership is I really want to hear what you have to say, you know, your ideas, because you may have something I've never thought of.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Always listen to the suggestions.
Always.
And I'm so fortunate in my whole life. I mean, starting with as a young child, but my coaches of leadership in the Air Force, the supervisors I worked for, going to the Highway Patrol, the supervisors, just teaching you how to be that man, that person, and that leader. They would make me a lot of times the acting supervisor because they knew I could do that, and the guys would follow me and respect me. Yeah.
And I've had that privilege too, Frank. You know, certainly in retail management, of this gentleman I mentioned, Dick McKean, who was always asking me what I thought. It was always picking my brain, and definitely led by example. So I was very, very blessed by that. And then going into the pastorate, where I had that opportunity to lead and lead by example, and where I am now as well. Frank, some other things, some other ways people get a hold of you, or have you shared pretty much what you
got?
On
Facebook also. Just friend me on Facebook.
And I did, and you accepted.
Yeah, we're friends, and also Facebook public figure. I'm on there. I dropped LinkedIn, Stephen. I just didn't have the time to stay with that, but social media is a good way to contact, follow what's going on, and I always make it a point. And again, leadership, somebody suggested this, so many people follow you. Whenever you can, I try and spend 2 hours every day responding to the people that are just make a little comment, just to
same here,
say hi and so on. It's that personal thing. They're taking the time to contact you. Take the time to contact them back.
Absolutely. And I try to do that too as well, Frank, that a lot of people have asked, well, why are you so popular on Facebook, Steve? And I said, one is I put out a positive message all the time. And then the other thing too, and when we get off the phone tonight on the interview, is go back to those ones who have made a comment today and just respond to them. Because to me, when I make a comment on somebody else's, it means the world to me that they've acknowledged it and sent that comment back. So some great advice there, Frank.
Yes, exactly.
Right. This is Coach on.
We'd like to be treated.
Exactly. And I learned it, and guess this will probably date me too, is my mom told me a long time ago, Stephen, follow the golden rule.
Right.
Treat others the way that you want to be treated.
And obviously you're teaching the golden rule in your profession.
I'm trying. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. This is Coach on Fire, High Performance Leadership with Stephen Bryant, with my guest tonight, Frank Shankwitz. Frank, again, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I'm just going to give a couple things of how you can contact me. I am on Facebook as well as Stephen Bryant. I also have a photography page, Stephen Bryant Photography. I'm also on Instagram as PastorMan007. Again, that's started that account when I was a pastor. You can find me on LinkedIn as Stephen Bryant. And my email address is stephenbryantphotography@gmail.com. I want to put another plug in for where Frank is part of the judging, and I'll also take part in some other things in our event in February at Disneyland. And the link for that is shiningmickeyawards.vip. If you're a small or medium nonprofit organization, visit that, because we would love to hear what you have for innovative ideas, and we'd love to see you in Disneyland. Frank, again, thank you so much for coming on, and look forward to meeting you in person and working with you on this event. And again, for those who are listening tonight, thank you so